In studio for another segment or so. Senate District 37, incumbent Barrow Peacock, challenger Debbie Hollis. Miss Debbie said in the first segment that those international corporations, they need to be paying more to sort of fill in that tax gap for the poverty-stricken people in Louisiana. When she says international corporations, first thing that I think of is oil companies. The governor has led sort of a campaign against the oil companies in Louisiana. He's sort of running those lawsuits through the parishes to get them to pay more, to tax them more. Do you think that's a good idea or a bad one?
I think it's a bad idea. It's not a good idea. Our private sector jobs in the state of Louisiana is down. We have to have private sector jobs if we want a tax base to be able to fund education, health care, infrastructure. We are losing those private sector jobs. And Tyler Bridges did an article in The Advocate talking about who's telling the truth and said, well, employment's up, but private sector employment is down. Here in Shreveport-Bossier, if anybody believes the economy is going good for Shreveport-Bossier, I want to talk to them because I don't see it. We're suffering here in Northwest Louisiana, and we're competing with Texas, and we have to attract businesses here that provides jobs. We don't want people who are finishing Louisiana Tech or Bossier Parish Community College or LSUS or LSU having to go to another state for that job. We want them to stay here in the great state of Louisiana.
Miss Debbie, those multinational, those international corporations you were talking about that aren't carrying their freight, in your opinion, did you mean the oil companies?
Oil companies, chemical companies, the ones that are polluting and not refilling the canals in our coastal region, the ones who are not necessarily paying a living wage. And as a small business and nonprofit consultant, I have to say that I truly believe in cultivating, like Mr. Peacock said, cultivating our small business sector and making our state more viable for locally owned and small businesses, in addition to making multinational corporations pay their fair share. Yeah.
You can hear lawmakers say all the time, our tax structure in Louisiana on business is not competitive, that Texas is stealing our businesses. I mean, we're dealing with Fiber Bond right now in Minden that is getting all kinds of great deals to move to Texas. How do we address that? We got to create jobs, but but the tax structure right now is really tough on business. What would you, if elected, do about that?
So that's a really interesting subject for someone who's never served in the legislature before. I can only look at it from an economic development standpoint where I do have experience. When I worked in economic development, we would send out letters to multinational corporations touting that Louisiana has a large pool of unskilled laborers who are willing to work for minimum wage and no insurance. Now, fiscally, that might sound attractive to a CEO, but why would any middle management or employee want to move to the state of Louisiana when that's the selling point? I mean, when you get to the core of the issue here, we're talking about systemic poverty and long-term systemic changes that need to be made to our budget and the way that our economy works. This includes paying living wages. This includes everyone paying their fair share of taxes. I don't think that we can pinpoint one particular topic and blame our whole economy tanking, if you will, since Bobby Jindal has been out of office and just now improving on taxes. We have to look at the fact that Governor Edwards and our Republican-led legislature has invested in programs rather than cutting spending in the last couple of years, and that's helped.
Barrow, how do we address the tax structure on business that we hear so much about is hurting us?
Right. We have to be more competitive. We have one of the highest, the corporate income tax, which there's no exemption, is 8%. It gets to that number. That's a hard number to show to a corporation. Hey, come to Louisiana. Now, we do have the ITEP, and we can exempt you from, and that's for manufacturing jobs. But if you're a distribution center, we're going to give you the inventory tax. We're going to hit you on the inventory tax, and we're going to hit you on your corporate income tax, and that's 8%. That is too high, and we have to ratchet that back. We have to bring that down to a lower level. Other states have done it. We have to figure out how to get there. Is it going to be easy? Absolutely not, because there's more and more. There's always wonderful programs. There's always more we can do, but we have to have those private sector jobs, or we never get out.
We got time for one more. You want it?
Okay, I got it. This is the week. Saints or Cowboys?
You know my
Saints.
answer. Go Saints. Who dat?